In the far edge of the Orion cluster, many alien races lived and worked together. They had their own rules, their own leaders, and their own armies. One group, called the Zarnok Coalition, was the most powerful. They believed they were the oldest and strongest in that part of space. They had strong ships and smart minds, and they thought no other race could be a real threat to them. But there was a story, a very old story. It was passed from one generation to the next. The story was about a race called humans. Some called them ghosts, others said they were just a myth. The stories said humans were once great warriors and explorers. They had powerful ships and strange minds, but one day they disappeared. No one knew why. And after many years, most aliens believed the stories were not real. They thought humans never existed at all. On a Zarnok ship named Makaris, Commander Lyra Valen sat in her chair, looking at a screen. Her crew was silent. They had picked up a signal. It was weak and broken. No one could understand the message, but it was not like anything they had heard before. A young officer named Alan spoke, his voice nervous. He said the signal came from a place near the edge of the galaxy. It was a part of space no one went to anymore. He also said the signal was old, very old, maybe thousands of years. Commander Valen asked if the language could be translated. A machine tried to read the signal. After a few minutes, one word appeared again and again. The word was Earth. Valen had never heard that word. None of her officers had. She stood up and said, "We will go there." The council back on Zarnok allowed her to take a small group of ships. They thought it was safe. They thought there was nothing there. They thought the signal was just noise. The journey took 2 weeks. The small fleet of 10 ships moved through silent space. They arrived in the system where the signal came from. It was a quiet place. A dying star gave little light. One planet moved slowly around it. There were no signs of life on the surface. But then they saw something strange. There was a large structure floating above the planet. It was a space station, old and dark. The ships scanned it. It had power. It was still working. Valen ordered her team to enter the station. They wore suits and carried scanners. Inside, they found long halls, empty rooms, and large chambers. In one chamber, they found rows of sleeping pods, hundreds of them, maybe thousands. Most of the pods were empty. Some were broken, but a few still worked. One of them started to blink. Then it opened. A man slowly stepped out. He looked weak and confused. His eyes moved around the room. He saw the aliens in front of him. He raised his hands, showing he had no weapon. The team pointed their weapons at him, unsure what to do. The man spoke, but they did not understand him. His voice was calm. He did not look afraid. Valen gave the order to take him back to the ship. On the Makaris, the man was placed in a quiet room. He did not fight. He looked around, trying to understand where he was. He watched the crew and their machines. After a day, he started to speak small words in their language. After 3 days, he could hold a full conversation. His name was Daniel. Ross. He said he was a human. Valen asked him many questions. He answered with clear and simple words. He said he was part of a group that went into deep sleep a long time ago. They were waiting for a signal to wake them. Ross said Earth was the home of humans. He said they had built a great civilization. They had ships that could cross galaxies. But something happened. A time came when humans stopped. They left the stars and went silent. No one knew why. Valen did not know what to believe, but Ross was smart. He learned fast. He asked for books, for maps, for tools. He studied everything. In just a week, he could use their machines better than some of their own crew. Some on the Makaris began to worry. They said Ross was dangerous. Others said he was a gift, a chance to learn about a forgotten race. Valen listened to both sides. She did not make a choice yet, but then another signal came. This one was not weak. It was loud and clear. It came from far away but moved fast. It had no name, no code, just a single line of text that was easy to read. "We are coming." Valen looked at the screen. Her heart felt heavy. She looked at Ross. He was looking at the signal too. He said nothing, but his face changed. He knew what it meant. Something was coming, something big. And it was not a story anymore. The legends were real, and they were waking up. The 10 Zarnok ships stayed near the old space station. They kept sending reports back to the council. Some wanted to leave the area, but Commander Lyra Valen said they would stay. She believed something important was happening. The signal that said "we are coming" had not come again, but everyone on the ship felt nervous. Daniel Ross spent his time studying everything. He asked many questions. He was polite but serious. He wanted to learn about what had changed while he was asleep. He asked about star maps, political powers, alien races, and wars. He was not just curious. He was preparing. Valen invited him to speak with her every day. She asked about Earth and a human confederation. Ross said that humans had once been spread across many galaxies. They had science, art, and power. They built cities on stars. But something changed. A great silence fell. No one sent messages. No ships moved. Humans stopped. He said it was a choice. Earth called everyone back. All human colonies returned. Then they disappeared. They wanted to become quiet and watch. Ross said we hid, not because we were afraid, but because we wanted to understand. Valen listened, but found it hard to believe. She had seen many alien species, but none like Ross. He was calm, strong, and smart. He acted like he was never afraid. Even though he was alone, he stood tall. Some of her crew started to respect him. Others stayed afraid. One night, a strange energy wave moved through space. The Zarnok ships picked it up. It was not a weapon. It was not natural. It was a message. A new signal appeared. This time, it had a map. The map showed a place close to the dying star, a point in space where something was about to arrive. Valen ordered the fleet to move to the new point. They left 3 ships behind to watch the station. The rest went forward. The journey took 12 hours. At the marked point, space looked normal. No ships, no sound. Then everything changed. Lights appeared, lines of bright blue and white. The sky opened like a door. 50 massive ships came through. They were not like anything the Zarnok had seen before. The ships were long and smooth. They had no marks, no flags, but they moved with power. Even in silence, they looked loud. The biggest ship stopped in front of the Makaris. A voice came through. The communication line. It was a woman's voice, clear and strong. "This is Admiral Nora Blake of the Human Confederation Navy. You have one of our people. We are here to take him home." The crew of the Makaris was shocked. No one had seen such ships. No one had heard that name in real life. Valen asked the communication team to reply. She spoke calmly. "This is Commander Valen of the Zarnok Coalition. The man you speak of is Daniel Ross. He came from the station. He is safe. He has done no harm. Admiral Blake replied, "We thank you. We will send a team to bring him back. We also request a meeting. There is much to discuss." Valen looked at Ross. He had been standing behind her. He smiled and nodded. It is them. They really came. Within minutes, a small human ship left the largest vessel. It docked with the Makaris. 3 humans stepped out. One was tall, with short, dark hair. One was a woman with silver eyes. The last was older and quiet. They looked different, stronger than what the Zarnok expected. But they were peaceful. They walked with Ross through the halls. The crew watched in silence. Some took pictures. Some looked scared. Others bowed their heads without knowing why. Ross turned to Valen before leaving. He said, "Thank you for waking me. What you did matters." Valen asked, "Why now? Why come back?" After so long, Ross looked at her. "Because the galaxy forgot who we were, but we never forgot the galaxy." He stepped onto the small human ship. It undocked and flew back to the big one. Then all human ships moved together, quiet and smooth, but they did not leave. Admiral Blake sent another message. She invited Valen and her officers to meet on neutral ground, a station built by the Human Confederation. It would appear in 2 days. She gave the location. The Zarnok Council ordered Valen to accept. They wanted to see what humans would say. They wanted to know how dangerous they were. When the day came, a new structure appeared in space. It was a large meeting place, clean, white, and full of light. It had space for many races. Valen and her team entered with care. They were greeted by humans dressed in simple clothes. No weapons, no guards, but the place felt safe. Admiral Blake met them in a large hall. She smiled and offered her hand. Valen shook it. "We are not here for war," Blake said. "We are here to return." Valen asked, "Why did you hide?" Blake said, "We saw the galaxy lose its way. Wars, greed, fear. We needed to wait. But now the time is right." The 2 leaders sat. They talked about peace, about trade, about knowledge. The humans said they had much to share, but they would not give power quickly. Trust had to be built. Valen left the meeting with a strange feeling. She had come thinking she would find an old ruin, a lost race. But instead, she found legends walking again. The human fleet stayed in orbit. Their ships did not move much, but their presence changed everything. All over the galaxy, races began to talk. Some feared, some hoped. The Zarnok knew that the balance of power had shifted, and this was only the beginning. Daniel Ross stood on the wide bridge of the human ship Horizon. He looked at the stars through the large front window. He was quiet, but his mind was full. Everything had changed so fast. A week ago, he had been alone, waking from sleep. Now, his people were back, and the galaxy was watching. Admiral Nora Blake stood beside him. She watched him with calm eyes. "You did well," she said. "You helped us return without fear." Ross gave a small nod. "They thought we were gone forever." Blake looked at the screen where the Zarnok ships floated in the distance. "They thought we were only a story. Now they know the truth." Back on the Makaris, Commander Lyra Valen walked into the command room. Her officers were already talking. News of the human fleet had spread fast. Other alien races were sending messages. Some wanted to talk. Some wanted answers. Some were afraid. Valen sat down in her chair. "What do we know about their ships?" An officer named Ryle answered, "We scanned their engines. We found nothing we can understand. No heat trails, no common energy patterns. They move without sound or light." Another officer added, "They are like shadows, fast and quiet. We cannot follow them. We cannot even track them." Valen took a deep breath. She knew this was a new kind of power. The Zarnok coalition had been the strongest for many years. Now that had changed. Later, Valen met with her advisors. They spoke in low voices. Some wanted to leave. Some wanted to learn more. Others said humans were a danger. One advisor said they were gone for a long time. They could have changed. They could be planning something. Valen replied, "Or maybe they saw what we became and chose peace." At the same time, Daniel Ross joined a group of human officers. They met inside a quiet room on the horizon. A screen showed maps of old star paths, lost colonies, and unknown sectors. Ross pointed to a small dot on the map. This was Earth's first outpost in the Orion cluster. It was lost during the silence. A younger officer named Brian asked, "Do you think it still stands?" Ross answered, "Maybe. Or maybe others found it. We have to go there." Admiral Blake agreed. "Yes, it is time we remember everything." A small team of human ships left the main fleet. Ross joined them. Their goal was to visit lost places, old human stations, and hidden posts. They wanted to see what had changed. The first place they visited was a moon orbiting a gas planet. Long ago, it had a human lab. Now it was dark and broken. But inside, they found something strange. Alien signs. A small group had found the place and made it their home. The humans left them alone. They only took a few data cores and left a message. "We are back. We come in peace." While Ross and the team searched, Valen met Admiral Blake again. This time, on the neutral station built by the humans. They walked through large glass halls. Everything was clean and simple. No guards. No weapons in sight. Blake said, "We know the galaxy changed. We want to learn what it became. But we will not give away all our secrets." Valen asked, "Why not?" Blake answered, "Because power without trust brings war. We offer peace, but not weakness." Valen respected that. She had seen many races ask for peace, but carry a knife behind their back. The humans did not hide, but they did not give everything either back in space. Other races began to send ships. They wanted to see the humans with their own eyes. Some came with open hands, others with hidden plans. A small group of traders from the Terric Empire asked for a meeting. They offered gifts and smiled, but their ship carried hidden weapons. The humans knew. They let the traders come. They listened to their words, but they also sent a signal back to the Terric homeworld, a simple message: "We see you. Do not test us." The Terric ship left soon after, quiet and without gifts. More and more, the galaxy saw the truth. Humans were not just stories. They were strong, smart, and careful. They had come back with purpose. Daniel Ross returned to the horizon. He looked tired but proud. The search had found many things: old stations, human messages written in steel, and some places now ruled by others. He told Admiral Blake, "We should not take back what is lost. We should build something new." Blake agreed. "Yes, let the past sleep. We look forward now." Commander Valen was invited to a new kind of meeting. This one had humans, Zarnok, and even two smaller races from nearby systems. They sat around a table, not as enemies, but as voices. Ross was there too. He spoke first. Long ago, we touched the stars and then left. Now we return, not to rule, but to connect. Not to fight, but to share. We are human. We remember. The others listened. The room was still. Valen looked at him. She felt something deep in her heart. Hope. The meeting ended with simple words. The beginning of a new path. Across the galaxy, people talked. They wondered what would come next. They watched the human fleet and remembered the stories. They no longer asked if humans were real. They now asked what the humans would do next. Asterisk. 2 weeks passed since the human fleet returned. The galaxy was still talking. Many leaders sent messages to the Human Confederation. Some wanted to meet. Some asked for help. Some warned them to stay away. But the humans stayed calm. They answered only a few. They said they would speak when the time was right. Commander Lyra Valen was now working with human teams. She had been invited to visit Earth. She was the first Zarnok officer ever to go there. She traveled on a human ship named Liberty. It moved fast and quiet. The trip took only 3 days. When she arrived, Valen saw Earth for the first time. It was blue and green, full of life. The human cities were clean, tall, and bright, but they did not feel cold. They felt alive. People walked without fear. There were no walls, no guards, yet everything felt safe. Admiral Blake met her at the landing port. They took a small car through the city. Valen asked, "Why are there no soldiers, no guns?" Blake smiled. "We protect our people in ways others do not see." They reached a building made of glass and metal. Inside, leaders from many human worlds waited. Some came from Mars, others from stations in deep space. They welcomed Valen with respect. She was surprised. No one looked down on her. They treated her like an equal. A meeting started. The topic was the future. The humans wanted to build something called the Star Circle. It would be a group of trusted races. They would meet, share ideas, and help each other. It would not be a rule of force, but a path of balance. Valen listened to the plan. It was simple but strong. She asked, "What if someone refuses peace? What if someone attacks?" Blake answered, "Then we will defend ourselves. But we will not strike first." Valen nodded. She liked the idea. It felt different from what she had known. Back on the Makaris, her crew was busy. They worked with human engineers. Together, they studied energy systems and ship designs. The humans shared a little, but not all. They taught, but only the basics. A young Zarnok pilot named Taran worked beside a human girl named Lucy. They became friends. They shared stories, food, and small jokes. It was the first time Taran saw humans as people, not just power. In another part of the galaxy, trouble was growing. The Krell Dominion, a warlike race, did not like the return of humans. They sent a spy ship to watch the horizon. The humans noticed, but said nothing. They let the ship stay. Daniel Ross was on the horizon, reading reports. He saw what the were doing. He asked Admiral Blake, "Why do we let them stay?" She replied, "Let them see. Let them understand. Fear comes from shadows. We will give them light." But not all humans agreed with peace. Some older generals wanted to show strength. They said the galaxy had grown cruel. They said peace would not last. Blake listened, but stayed firm. She said, "We were once feared. Now We will be respected, not by force, but by action. The Star Circle held its first meeting on a moon near Earth. Small ships from 10 different races came. They entered a white hall, round and simple. Valen sat next to Ross. Taryn and Lucy were also there, watching. Each race spoke. Some offered food, others knowledge. One small race, the Varn, offered music. It was soft and strange, but beautiful. When they finished, the room was silent. Ross stood. He said, "We all come from different stars, but we all dream, we all fear, we all hope. Let us build not a wall, but a path." The words were simple, but they touched many hearts. The Krell did not join the meeting, but they watched, and they planned. A week later, a human science ship called Starfinder went missing. It had been near Krell space. No signal, no trace. The Human Council held an emergency talk. Some wanted to send warships, but Blake waited. She sent a single message. "To the Krell, we know you have it. Return our people." The Krell answered, "You are not our rulers. Stay away." Blake did not send war. She sent 3 ships, fast and silent. They entered Krell space without warning. No shots were fired. Hours later, the Starfinder returned, safe. No one spoke of what happened, but the Krell sent no more threats. Across the galaxy, respect turned into fear, but not the fear of war. It was the fear of truth. Humans were not just powerful, they were watching, listening, waiting. Valen returned to the Macaries. She stood with her crew and looked at the stars. "We are living in a new time," she said. Taren nodded. "It feels like a story, but it is real." Lucy smiled. "The stars are big enough for all of us." The Star Circle grew. More races asked to join. Small ships traveled between worlds, not with weapons, but with words. Ross sat alone one evening. He looked at a small photo in his hand. It showed Earth, old and green. He remembered his past. He saw his future. The silence was over. Humanity had returned, and the stars would never be the same again. Peace started to grow across the stars. The Star Circle now had 15 member races. They spoke often. They sent trade ships, teachers, and explorers to new places. Fear began to fade, and trust started to rise. On Earth, new stations were being built. One was called Unity Point. It was not just for humans. It was for all races. Scientists, leaders, and artists came to share their ideas. Children from different planets learned together in classrooms. Daniel Ross spent many days there. He helped teach alien students about Earth and human history. He also listened to the stories from other worlds. He believed knowledge could hold more power than weapons. Commander Valen returned for another visit. She walked through Unity Point and smiled. She saw humans and Zarnok working side by side. She said, "This was not possible before. Now it feels normal." Ross replied, "We are not the same, but we can walk the same road." But not everything was calm. The Krell Dominion had not changed. They still refused to join the Star Circle. They kept building more warships. They trained soldiers in secret. Their leaders believed that peace was weakness. One day, a small planet near Krell space sent a distress call. The message said Krell ships were attacking. They had no defense. The Star Circle members met right away. Some races wanted to send help. Others feared war. Ross stood before the group. He said, "We cannot let fear rule us. If we stand for peace, we must protect it. Admiral Blake sent 3 human ships to the planet. They moved fast. When they arrived, the Krell had already landed troops. The human ships stayed in orbit. They sent a message: leave now or face us. The Krell commander laughed. You are few, we are many. You cannot stop us. Then the human ships released small drones, quiet and fast. They flew across the sky. They did not fire. Instead, they showed images of human strength. The images were not threats. They showed past battles, great machines, and cities rebuilt after war. The Krell troops paused. Some lowered their weapons. The message was clear. The humans did not want to fight, but they could. The Krell left without a shot. News of the event spread fast. For the first time, the Krell Dominion stayed quiet. Some younger Krell officers even asked to speak with human leaders. Change had begun, even in the darkest places. Valen stood with Ross at Unity Point. She said, "This galaxy was ruled by power. Now it starts to change." Ross answered, "True power is not in fear, it is in hope." A few months later, the first joint human and alien colony began on a new world. The planet was rich in water and light. Families from many races moved there. They built homes, schools, and gardens. Children played under twin suns. They did not care about old fears. They laughed in many languages, but played as one. Ross visited the colony and spoke to the new settlers. He said, "Long ago, we humans vanished. We waited, we watched. Now we return, not to rule, but to join. The stars are big enough for all of us." Admiral Blake, now older, watched from her ship. She smiled and said, "He was the first to wake, but not the last to lead." Time moved forward. The star circle became stronger. New races joined. Old enemies became friends. Not all problems ended, but more people now believed in peace. Daniel Ross wrote a book. It was called The Road Home. It told the story of the humans who slept and the galaxy that forgot them. It also told of the day they returned and how they chose a different path. Valen wrote her own words. Her message was short but powerful. Legends walked among us. Now we walk with them. Years later, a statue was placed at Unity Point. It showed a human child and an alien child holding a star together. Under it were the words, "Together we shine brighter." The legends were no longer just stories. They had become real. They had become hope. And so, across the stars, in many voices and many hearts, the message was clear. Humanity had returned, and they brought a future with them. Asterisk, the sky above the alien world was quiet now. The battle was over, and the humans had won. The enemy ships were broken in space. The enemy soldiers had run away or given up. No one thought the humans would win. But they did. Captain Laura stood on the main deck of the ship. She looked at the stars. Her team was behind her. Her face was calm, but her heart was full. She had seen many battles, but this one felt different. This one changed everything. Jason walked up beside her. He looked tired but proud. "We did it," he said. Laura nodded. "Yes, but it's not over yet." The enemy was not finished. There were still more planets under their rule. Many people were still afraid, but now they had hope. They had seen what humans could do. A message came in. The screen lit up, and a face appeared. It was Admiral Ross. His voice was clear. "Well done, Captain. The fleet will move to the next system. You will lead again." Laura gave a small smile. Yes, sir. The crew started to get ready. They cleaned the ship. They helped the injured. They sent messages to the people on the ground. The people cheered when they heard the humans were staying. They felt safe now. Down on the surface, Leo and Amber were helping in the city. The alien people looked at them with wide eyes. Some still did not believe the stories were true. Humans were real, and they came to help. Leo gave food to a child. The child smiled and hugged him. You were not a monster, the child said. Leo smiled back. No, I'm just a man. Amber helped fix a broken shelter. She worked with the alien builders. They did not speak the same words, but they understood each other. She showed them how to use tools. They worked fast. They wanted to learn. The alien leader came to speak with her. He was old and strong. We heard stories about your kind, he said. We thought you were only a tale. Amber nodded. We heard nothing about you, but now we know you are real, and you are not alone anymore. Back on the ship, the team met in the control room. They had maps of other places. There were more people to save, more battles to fight. We must move fast, said Laura. The enemy will not wait, but we will be ready. Jason pointed to a dark area on the map. They have a strong base here, but it's not as strong as they think. If we strike now, we can take it. They all agreed. The plan was set. They would go at first light. That night, the crew rested. Some wrote letters. Some looked at pictures from Earth. Some just sat in silence. They were far from home, but they did not feel alone. They had each other. Laura looked at a photo of her family. She missed them, but she knew this was where she needed to be. She had a duty, and she would not stop. In the morning, the ship lifted off. The engines hummed. The stars moved past the window. The fleet followed behind. More ships had joined them. Other human ships had come after hearing the call. The sky was full of hope. They reached the next system in a day. The enemy base was there. It was big, but not ready. The humans did not wait. They moved fast and quiet. They hit hard. The enemy tried to fight, but it was too late. The humans were strong. They worked as one. They took the base. When the battle ended, the enemy gave up. Some ran. Some asked for peace. Laura spoke to their leader. He looked angry but afraid. You should not be this strong, he said. Laura replied, We did not come to fight, but we will not let you hurt others. The leader looked away. He knew the war was turning. After the battle, the people in the system came out of hiding. They were free. They thanked the humans. Some cried. Some sang. Jason walked through the city and looked at the people. It feels good to help, he said. Amber nodded. This is just the start. News of the humans spread across the galaxy. People whispered their names. Some feared them. Others hoped for them. On a distant planet, a young alien child looked up at the stars and asked, Will the humans come here too? His mother smiled. Maybe one day, if we need them, they will come. And high above in the sky, the human fleet moved. Like a wave, quiet but strong. The galaxy was changing.